Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt, man!
All right, episode 59 of Shirt Show. We're talking with Jose from 2ELEVEN Streetapparel in Oregon. Let's go!
What's up there, Boo Bear?
Greetings.
You got a Free Britney shirt on there?
Actually, it doesn't say Free Britney. You know why? Because I had this shirt before everybody. Yeah. I was supporting Britney before everybody else was, is what I'm trying to say.
Does it say Britney bitch on it?
No. Just Britney.
Nice.
You got a Night Owl shirt on.
Yeah. It's got this gross, like, thick plastisol print on it.
Well, that's
so disgusting.
Yeah, I know I've tried to talk him into printing some water-based stuff.
I know.
He's not
like
having
us.
it. I know.
Right.
Eric is like a pretty stubborn dude.
Yeah.
That's what I found out.
Whatever.
It's
I
fine.
mean, I'll wear it once and throw it away. So
It's fine. You know, we'll be known for like our cutting edge water-based technology. You and I.
Right.
Okay. That's fine. You know, I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
That sounded refreshing.
It is a refreshing Coca-Cola. Eric, I love you. Thank you for the shirt. It's very soft.
I like how you felt bad and you had to tell him you love him and everything.
I do. It's a great shirt. I don't want people to think it's not, because it is amazing.
Well, I don't have one. I wish I did. Be pretty cool.
Well, they printed these and put them out, and I bought one because friends support friends, Andy.
Oh, see, I didn't see that. I didn't know that it was for sale. You got to keep me like up to date. I need help. All
right. I understand.
You know what? I found out that some guy named Matt Marcotte, he was like, he said something about, have you heard of him?
No.
Well, apparently he thinks our episodes are too long. And you know what? I think his episode was too long.
Like 3 hours too long.
Yeah. So I say we delete all 3 hours. Like just hold on. Let me log in here.
Let's do like the first, let's keep like the first 20 seconds.
You mean of just you and I, and then before he comes on?
Right.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Because, you know, we were watching and supporting our friends at Printavo and watching their episode. No matter how long it was.
Sure as shit was.
Right. Because no matter how long it is, we want to watch it. We want to educate ourselves. We want to just support friends. You know what I mean? Same thing. Supporting friends. Exactly. And, whatever.
I mean, you want me to log in and delete that shit?
We're going to do the Gladiator?
No, we can't do that. We also love Matt, don't we? I mean,
I do. He's so cute and cuddly. He's not as cute and cuddly as you, but I mean, it's up there.
I appreciate that, Dylan. It's good to hear. Mm-hmm. Matt, watch the whole thing, man. Carve out some time in your busy schedule.
Even if you just like hit play on it at the shop and then leave and go home.
When you come back,
full playthrough, it'll be gone. It'll be done by the time you get back.
Yes, and we'd appreciate that. What else is going on, man?
I don't know. Tell me about your week.
Well, you want the depressing? Do you want to cry or do you want to laugh?
I could honestly go for a good cry. It's been a long time since I've cried.
Okay.
I bet if I cried, I would be just like so zen. So hit me with it.
Well, you know how we have 2 new hires?
Mm-hmm.
Working out great. But just when I'm like, we're going to get ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And I got somebody leaving now, and she is like a pillar to this place, and she's moving on.
Well, how does that saying go? For you, it was when 2 doors close, another one opens. So that door opened.
2 doors.
When that door opened, one of your other employees just walked out of it.
2 doors open, 1 door closes. I don't know.
Not in your case.
No. But that's, I don't know.
It happens.
Man. Like It does, but I was thinking to myself, is like, maybe this is too serious and we need to talk about this later in the episode. I mean, this is pregame. This is fun stuff. There's supposed to be like, we're getting hyped.
I'm asking you about your week. Tell me some good stuff that happened this week.
Yeah, let's delete that part. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to delete Matt Marcotte. We're going to delete his episode. We're going to delete what I just talked about, like from reality, not just from this show, like from reality. Can you do that?
Mm-hmm. So nothing good happened to you this week?
Well, yeah, actually, after I found out that that person was leaving, I went home, and I'll tell you what a difference a day makes, because I came back the next day with the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I
motivated you.
Yeah. It's going to be okay.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
I also got to hang out with our buddy Ryan from Covered in Ink all day Wednesday.
Yeah. Did he teach you how to screen print?
Yeah, he did. Surprisingly, I didn't know anything about screen printing. And he walked in and just blew my fucking mind. Yeah.
So you printed your first real shirt.
Right. I printed my first t-shirt. It was weird. I went out there and I mixed up some paint and I put it in a screen, and he showed me how to make it work.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty neat. Do you have do you happen to have it around? I would love to.
No, I washed it and all the ink washed off, all the paint washed off.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there is a trick to that. Making it.
I didn't dry it.
Right.
I didn't know you needed to do that. I tried air drying it. He was just coming through. He was just visiting, but it was just awesome to pick his brain. So if you haven't yet, check out Covered in .ink on Instagram.
Yeah. I forgot that I had this joke, but Hanson screen printing.
Mm-hmm.
There he is. Got a cool.
Yep, I got one
sticker there.
Pretty sweet.
Another cool sticker here.
Thanks, buddy.
And with my stickers, he included a joke. Did he include a joke for you, like in your envelope?
I feel like he did, but I think it was one that he sent to us.
And you threw it away. I didn't. I kept mine because it means a lot to me when people send me these little kind of little notes.
It might actually be back here in my notes pile.
Okay, well, here you go. You ready?
I don't know.
What does the sign say on an out of business brothel?
I don't know.
You ready? Beat it. We're closed.
That's awesome. I actually have a whole bunch of dad jokes saved. I was going to just rattle off in one of these episodes. So now obviously is a good time.
Yeah, let's do it.
What did Jay-Z call his wife before they got married?
Don't know.
Fiance. This one's my favorite. Amal and Juan are identical twins. Their mom only carries one baby photo in her wallet because once you've seen Juan, you've seen them all. I love that one. I saw an ad that read TV for sale, $1, volume stuck on full. I thought to myself, I can't turn that down.
All right.
What kind of doctor is Dr. Pepper?
I feel like I know this one. I don't know.
A physician.
That's a bad one. That's a bad.
It's physician.
I get it. Erase that one. I got one.
All right.
I got one. What do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear.
All right. So if anybody listening has better jokes than we have, please send them to us.
Send them to us. Well, I think we should talk about our sponsors now, Dylan.
Okay. Kick it off, bud.
Oh, hold on. Check.
Hey there, beautiful. Hey there. Hey there. Sorry. Hey there. I like your face. It looks real nice.
It's the best when you say you like something, like you like your face, because it's so.
We had, how many people did we have say something that they loved the Whisper episodes? So we need to do an entire Whisper episode.
Yeah, I think we had somebody say that they didn't love it also.
Yeah, we did have somebody on YouTube say they couldn't handle it.
Yeah, they had to skip right over that. But Easy Way is a line of eco-friendly chemicals. Will get the job done faster, more efficiently, and will cost you a fraction of the cost per
screen.
Yeah.
We've been using Easy Way for quite a while now, for a long time in the dip tank, but we had a couple fives still of like screen wash stuff, and we just
wash stuff.
I don't remember what the number was. It's like a weird number. It's like fucking 584 or something. And I hit up Alex and I said, hey, I'm ready now for you to send me a couple fives of 701 because I haven't been using 701. And he sent it to me, and I didn't even say anything to Rich because he's been using, and he's new, so he's only been here a couple weeks, 2 weeks now. And we got 701, and he was like, "Oh, dude, it's night and day. Like these screens are so much cleaner. Like it's taking out, some of these hazes that we've had." So no, he's stoked on it, and I didn't even have to say anything. I didn't have to be like, "Hey, this product is whatever." He was all for it.
It was an authentic reaction.
It was an authentic reaction. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. So I'll tell you what, Easy Way.
It's the easiest way.
It's
Hands
the fucking easiest
down.
way. You know what time it is?
Y'all ready for this? There it is. There's that finger I like. No, start over.
Okay. Frank. Yeah, Frank. Frank from GSF. And I'll tell you what,
I tell you what.
Now, Frank, remember, he'll stretch a screen with standard thread.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but if you really got to have, the standard thread, do it. But there's this thread.
Are you going to be okay? Is this one of those warning signs? I should call somebody.
Oh,
Are you about to have a stroke?
We can just call it TT. That's way better. TT, because that's how it comes on the screen.
Couple of TTs.
T.
Right.
Right. You won't forget that.
Nope. I got a bunch of TTs.
Are you done?
I'm just talking about screens. Go ahead.
It's night and day. Talking about night and day from the chemical that you were using, and then you switched over to 701 again. Well, I mean, it's night and day between standard and thin thread. The detail, it's crazy.
Right, but these TTs that we get from Frank, you have to handle with care. You know what I mean? You can't just go banging them around.
Can't motorboat them.
Right, you just gotta be gentle with them, and they'll give you, everything you ever wanted.
Sure.
Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, thanks, Frank. Also, I was chatting with our friends, the Print Room in New Zealand, and they were asking about TTs, and I was like, Frank can hook you up. And so I don't know if that's true. I don't know if Frank can ship screens or if it's even economical.
You can ship anywhere in the world. That's a fact.
Well,
it might not be cost effective.
Yeah, your screens might be $1,000 each, but they'd be Frank's. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And it would be worth it.
I'm interested in what that freight cost is.
Well, we'll find out. But GSF, that stands for Graphic Screen Fashion. .com.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go to
5Fs, then rank.com.
That's right. Both ways get you there.
Mm-hmm.
Monarch.
Love that stuff.
I'll tell you what, it has a dope ass mixing system.
Mm-hmm. We love it. We've been using it a lot lately. I was telling you we got a new Pantone book, and we've been mixing more Pantones now. We're also making a stock color chart because of your wisdom and our talks with Aaron. Well, remember we had that debate of if it was cost effective to have a pre-mixed or to mix it, and it was actually 10 cents cheaper.
Not a lot. Well, for the material cost, 10 cents.
Yeah,
but labor cost,
right,
1,000 times that.
Yeah. But there's just me and Brian are trying to put together a 40 color stock chart to where if it's a regular customer and not somebody who's got like a 12 color print, that we can just refer to this chart. So if it's like green or, there's like 4 greens maybe we choose from. But if it's somebody who's got like their own custom Pantones or got this like crazy artwork that's got all these weird tones in it, we'll definitely like Pantone it and mix it. But for the day-to-day, like red, green, blue, yellow, purple, whatever, we're going to try to pick from this so that we can just grab a gallon and go to make our shop a little more efficient.
I like that. Ooh, I've got a message from a patch company digitizer.
Ooh, too bad your mom does it.
I know. Yeah, too bad.
It's sad.
Hey, we got to get going. All right. So
we got time. We didn't finish Monarch off.
Oh, yes.
Monarch, we love you.
Monarch. Print. Oh, man. I got to get it. I got to do something. Should I go make some coffee?
I'm going to call Joanne and just make sure you're okay.
Ink better, print better, be better.
Live Moss.
Monarch. That was really breathy.
I felt that on the back of my neck.
Are you ready?
I was fucking born ready.
I was not. I was born and I was not ready.
Okay.
Do I hit end? No, it's the wrong button.
What's up, bud?
What's going on, guys? I was over here waiting for you guys. I was
all
like,
right.
Man, hopefully my end is connected. And
no, you're good. We were just talking shit to each other.
No, yeah, I know how it goes.
Dylan was taking pictures of me.
I was, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Talking shirty too, whispering.
Mm-hmm. And to get him going.
How's your Sunday, man?
It's pretty good. It was kind of dragging because I was nervous to come on. So I'm like, man, is it 2 yet? I don't want to be late. But I've just been gathering some stuff together. I'm going back to work tomorrow, so I had to get my tool bags ready and stuff like that, get organized.
What do you mean back to work? What are you doing?
Well, I was at home for like 6 months. I had gotten laid off from work, so I was at home with my daughter, just watching her and stuff like that. And yeah, it's kind of time to go back to work now. The jobs are getting real slow, and I got to get back on the grind.
Yeah. What do you do though? What are you doing, a trade or something?
Oh yeah, no, sorry about that. I have experience in like automotive and like construction and stuff like that. So I just kind of went on Craigslist real quick and found whatever was close to me and applied. It's going to be, we're going to be building like RVs and stuff like from the ground up, kind of manufacturing them. And
that's awesome.
Stuff like that. Yeah. Hopefully it goes good. We'll see.
Is it something that you want to do full time? Like, do you want to screen print full time? Like, do you want to go all in at some point, or is it just a hobby?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. No, well, it started off as a hobby, honestly, because I was just doing like heat transfers and stuff like that, and I was just wearing them to work, like just bootlegging like freaking whatever brand I liked and just wearing it to work and whatever shirt. I wasn't selling it or nothing. And then it just kind of hit me like, oh, like I want to make my own stuff instead of wearing other people's stuff. Like, let me try and make something for myself. And I did that, and sure enough, I didn't sell shit. I thought it was the designs were so cool to me. I was like, oh, I'm gonna sell this or whatever, and it's not that easy, And I got approached by some. Well, I'm kind of skipping forward.
How close are you to your internet? There was a couple times where it was breaking up a little bit.
I'm in the garage, so I just go to my living room.
You might want to try it. It's cutting in and out a little bit.
I mean, I like the background that you've got right there for sure, but it's...
Yeah, just give me a second.
No worries. Honestly, dude, take your time. No worries. He does have a press in the background though, so...
I know. And he's in the garage, which is... I've got a
super
whole
rad
thing on that.
How's the service now, guys? A little better?
Oh, yeah, better. Can actually hear you better too.
Yep.
Yeah, I have the modem in our room, so like it has to go through like 4 walls to even reach me in the garage.
Dude, I fully understand that. I have like a big old Victorian house, and our internet's like downstairs in the living room in like a far corner, and all of our bedrooms and my office are like on the other side of the house upstairs. So it's like internet was such a problem for a really long time. And then actually our buddy Justin Lawrence, I posted something on Instagram saying, somebody please help me out. Like, tell me like the best router to get. Justin's like, oh, I got a brand new like Google Wi-Fi system I'm not using. And then like 3 days later, it showed up at my door.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So like you put like the hubs throughout your house, like in different spots, and they bounce off each other. So now I have like beautiful internet to stream in my house because of Justin.
Oh, nice. Shout out to Wild Boys.
Yeah. Wild Boys.
Yeah. Those Google ones, they work really well. Like you can buy a 3-pack of them too, and put them all throughout your house. And
I'm gonna have to look into that because
signal
definitely
they're good.
Would be good for that.
Yeah, you could put one in the garage. You could put one, in your house, and then one like somewhere else, like in your bedroom if you watch TV in there. It's good. So back to your story. So you're kind of just printing at night and going to be working in the day.
Yeah. Well, because I got laid off and I was just, I'm going to stay home with my daughter, and she just turned 2 on Saturday. So it was nice because the first year it felt like it kind of just, I was going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home. I felt like I didn't even watch her grow up, so I was kind of just taking it in and enjoying it. And money started getting tight, so I needed to get back to work. So eventually I wanted to do it full time, but like I've only legit been like doing it for probably like 5 months or so. So I still got to build up like clients and stuff like that to be able to go full time. So I understand it takes time. So right now I just got to grind until I could get there.
Yeah.
I think that this pandemic and the time that everybody's either worked from home or just been laid off, like you said, and been at home, there's been a ton of people that have started businesses or that probably will never go back to like even the office. You know what I mean? Because I think, from what I've talked to a lot of friends, and some of them are in that situation, and they're like, look, I don't have a reason to go back to the office. I didn't even know that how much I hated going to the office and how much could actually get done from home. And so I think it's going to be a struggle, for employers and employees both, like to figure out what works, if it's a hybrid or what it's going to be. Like for us, screen printers, like we don't even have that option. I mean, somebody's got to come here and print shirts. There's not a work from home option, and so.
I saw like a whole article on that, and it was talking about how these massive companies that had all this workforce that was just doing like computer or data entry or, customer service or whatever from home. And now that things are kind of starting to normalize, they're trying to bring everybody back. But like most of these people are like, fuck that, I'm not going back, because like Andy was saying, like they didn't realize how it was before because it was just like normal. Like that's just what you did. You went to your office, you sat in your cubicle, you punched in, you did all this stuff. But now people are realizing like, I can get as much stuff done at home, if not more, because they don't have to commute like an hour to work in the morning. They don't have to pay for parking. They don't have to pay for gas. They don't have to maintain their car as much. And then at lunch, they can just get up and go to the fridge. They don't have to like, go to lunch or pack a lunch or buy stuff. And then, again, they're not just sitting there from 9 to 5 because they have to. They can work, pound out everything they have to do for the day in like 4 hours, and then they can play with their kids or whatever they got to do throughout the day. So it's like, it makes total sense. Like, I feel like if you were an open enough company, you should embrace that. Be like, if you're getting your work done, like who cares? Like, as long as the shit is done.
I think some people could handle that, and some maybe couldn't. Like, I think that some people could, wake up normal time, set your alarm, wake up, shower, and like work and be that sort of self-starter. And I think other people will have a trouble. Like,
I'm that person. I'm that person that like I can't work from home. Like if I was at home, nothing would get done. But like having the structure of like getting up, having my morning routine, coming to work, sitting at my desk, like I can focus and get more stuff done. So I feel like it should just be optional. Like it would be, it could be either way as long as it works. But
I said a minute ago that screen printers, we don't have an option from working from home, but that's not true because I started in a garage. You're in a garage, right? Now?
Yeah. No, I initially started in our old place. It was like 900 square feet. And I was printing in our hallway, I felt like a prison, so I could go like this. So printing in the garage it's straight luxury for me right now. I'm able to print freely. So
it's such a dope garage though too. Like you have all the toys in there and the posters, and it's like
I try to give it
your domain.
Yeah, I share it with my fiance. Like I just have like my little corner, and the rest of the garage is all hers because she has her own little side business as well.
So are those her action figures then?
Yeah. Probably like 2 are mine. She lets me put them up there. So
perfect.
Tell us about those.
Well, I just recently started getting into those. Like I was into them a couple years back, but not as heavy as I am now. It started maybe like a year and a half ago, and I didn't have much room in the place we were at, so I kind of just kept it minimal, like just really small stuff. And then I kind of like, I wouldn't say it was like an addiction, but I just really liked it. I was like on the hunt, like just trying to find ones that I knew weren't out there. And like, I know I could easily probably some of them ordered online, but I just like the thrill of showing up to Walmart or Target or Best Buy or wherever I go to get them, and either being upset that there's nothing there or being super happy and unexpected finding something that I was, looking for.
What's super fun with that, and I'm very into that as well, is going to like yard sailing or like flea markets. Like usually in the summer, I mean, not with COVID, but like around here, there's a couple big neighborhoods that do like a neighborhood wide garage sale. We also have in New York, we have this one called the 50-mile garage sale, which is like a 50-mile strip where everyone on that 50 miles like basically has a yard sale in their yard, and then like people come from like other places and put their shit out too. So it's just like 50 miles straight of yard sales.
Eminem has one of those. It's called 8 Mile. It's pretty good too.
Not the same.
Oh really?
Mom spaghetti. But it's awesome just to go like to a house as in the suburbs or whatever, and you can tell like their kids have grown up and gone to college or whatever, and they had all these toys, and now they're like, fuck it, let's get rid of it. But there's like some like super rare toys or stuff that's just like you're drooling over because you've wanted forever. And this mom, but the best part is these moms don't give a shit. They're just like, oh, that's like a nickel. You know what I mean? You could find this like you could find this action figure that's probably like $1,000 on eBay or something. This mom's getting rid of it for a nickel. So to me, that's more exciting, is finding stuff that's just like rare or stuff that's, I don't know, just like super nostalgic for me as a kid or whatever. But I definitely buy stuff, but I try to buy stuff that's like more unique or like a Mondo exclusive or something like that, just because I like knowing that it's like one of 50 or one of 100 or something.
That's what I'm kind of getting at right now, because for a while, like when I was, getting more into it, that I have more space, I'm like, oh yeah, I like this. I'm gonna get this and this, and then at the end of it, it's like there's too much to fucking handle, So you got to really like
problem.
Pick your niche, and like some of them I kind of got rid of because I'm like, okay, well these like I like them, but not so much. So I'm gonna make room for ones that I actually really want to get my hands on and stuff like that, and it's fun.
You know what's dangerous are those Funko Pops, like the little Funko Pop characters.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I refuse to get into those because I know that there's like a million of them. And I don't want to get into that because I know I'll end up with like 1,000 of them. I literally have one that I bought and I've only seen it once, and it's Lemmy and Motorhead. It's the only one I have.
I'm the same way. That I got into like the Funko thing, but then I started like I found this store that had like they have like pop galore, And I saw all kinds of Simpson ones, just stuff that I didn't even know they had pops up. So I'm like, oh, this is cool, this is cool, this is cool. And in the end of it, I'm like, man, I'm stuck with this all kinds of stuff I thought was cool and not necessarily that I truly wanted to have in my collection, you know? So I kind of weeded that out, and now just sticking to like strictly I like the NECA figures a lot, and the Mego and the Loyal Subjects, I believe they're called, have some pretty cool ones.
Yeah. No, they're all good. It's just it can get dangerous. Like you can go too deep and spend too much money. So
yeah, for sure.
I feel you on going to the store and hoping it's there and then maybe it's not. I did the exact thing yesterday with John from Logo Daddy told me about this. I needed a speaker, you know, a roaming like speaker. And so he had this Sonos Roam and it sounded great. So I went online, I looked, and there was a Best Buy like 11 miles from my house. There's one that's closer, but they didn't have it. But this one had it 11 miles from my house. So I got in the car, went down there. I haven't been to a Best Buy like in a long time. Like, I don't know, maybe I don't think I've been in a Best Buy since the pandemic, not sure. But I went in and I realized I hate going in there now. I used to love going in. Like when they had CDs and all that kind of stuff, like Best Buy was a thing, you know, you'd go through the aisles and it was fun. But now I hated it. And so they didn't have it. I thought to myself, I'm such an idiot. I should have just bought it online and then gone and picked it up. Mm-hmm. But they didn't have it.
I feel like we're one human because I have the exact same story that this Saturday I went to Best Buy for like the first time in a really long time. And I went in because I wanted to get some new movies. Like I feel like all pandemic, I haven't like ordered any movies. I haven't bought any movies because I have a pretty good movie collection. And it's just kind of like when I see a good movie, even if it's on demand or it's somewhere and it's just a movie I know I'm going to rewatch someday or I just really like it, like I'll go buy it and I'll add it. Like I don't just buy movies to buy movies. And same thing. Yeah, I went to Best Buy and like they used to have like 5 rows of movies. Like 5 aisles of movies, basically. Now it's like 1 aisle, like front and back. And that was it. And I was like, what the hell?
Mainly just like what just came out too, you know, like they'll have all the Guardians or whatever is out, stuff like that. And yeah, I definitely feel that.
So tell us, how did you find screen printing? How did you get into it?
Well, back to that. My fiance, she has like the Cricut and all that stuff. And she showed me like about heat press. That's how I found like vinyl. Cause, growing up, I was always into, graffiti and stuff like that. And I always wanted to put stuff like on my shirts, but I just never knew how. So I just let it go. And then when I got with her, she had told me about that. And then it kind of came back to me and I was like, oh dang, you know, like let me make some designs or whatever, draw something out and I could put it on a shirt. And, I started doing that. And then I found, my good friend now, I added him on Instagram, Josh. He's out at Lookout Prints. I don't know if you guys have seen him, but I reached out to him and just talked to him like, oh, I don't really know much about screen printing and stuff like that. And he just kind of just went, put me under his wing and just told me about stuff. I didn't know it was a thing. Honestly, like I didn't even know how the shirt was made. I just knew about heat press and stuff like that. And, he just kind of told me like about, you know, mesh counts and burns and stuff like that. And then I started going on YouTube and I started watching Taino Inc., Cat Spit, Bryanet, you know, the whole shebang, Mikey Designs and all them. And then I met another person through Instagram. His name's Martin, BC Print Shop out of San Diego. And he helped me a lot too. Like just, I had a question like, oh, how do you do this? Or what's this? You know, just kind of point me in the right direction. And then just a lot of trial and error, stuff like that. And Josh showed me you guys. And ever since then, I was doing my mechanical work at that time. So I could just blast my radio and listen to you guys. And I binged like everything up until like I got to the more recent one, just working and listening and just got more into it. And just, yeah, man, just a lot of trial and error, a lot of ripped screens. Before I even touched the emulsion, I was cutting out the vinyl and like mirroring it and sticking it to the mesh. So like I had this, like, it was like a 10 by 10, the speedball, small ass little screen. And I would do that, and I thought it was the coolest shit ever when I first started putting the screen directly on the shirt. I still had like a little line, and I didn't care. I was like, man, that's sick. I made it, like I'd wear it to work, all happy. And then later ordered my little four color one station off of Nevertheless screen printing. I was gonna go with one of those ones off Amazon, like the magnet ones everyone talks about. And I just thought, oh, well, this one's, in the US will probably be easier to build, because everyone says it's like this hard thing to build. There's confusing, there's no directions. And I got it, and it was kind of like the same thing. So I was like, I might as well just go on with the China press, but it didn't matter at that point. I figured it out. I put it on wrong at first, and then I kind of, messed with it and figured it out and got it going from there, and started learning like the off contacts and trying to make it balanced. And a lot of my shirts came out crooked. I almost gave up. I'm like, dude, I can't get this straight. And stuff like that, And now, like, I'm just full on into it. I have my first, like, I guess 4 or 5 color job that I'm going to pull off on the 4 that I just got. I'm just waiting for the artwork to come back. Josh is helping me out with that and get started on that. I'm kind of excited for that one. That's going to be like my first, like, I guess, color job. Because like a 2 color and 3 color, like, that's cool. But like,
are you just swinging a flash over and then swinging it back for each shirt?
Yeah, I'm flash curing right now. Just let it get smoky. And I kind of like, I figured out like the time and like how it's supposed to, look and feel. And once I get that smell, I'm like, okay, this one's ready. I have the temp gun and everything.
I thought I saw that you had a small conveyor.
No, I want to get like a little buddy or something like that eventually. But right now I just have the one I got offline. I think it was like $180 or something like that from Beck Store.
You can get, when I was curing with the flash, you can get, a laser. You can shoot it, like the top of your shirt, you can shoot it with a gun just to see, what your...
Yeah. I have the heat temp and stuff like that, and it helps me out with curing it. At first, I was really nervous, I gotten like my first job was like 30 hoodies, and I never done a 30 hoodie run, let alone like a 2 shirt run, So I was waiting for my flash to come in, and I burned the screen without even having film. I used I reverse weeded heat transfer vinyl, like on a black, and I used that as my film, and it worked, and I got the hoodies out of the way. I didn't mess up any, surprisingly. I thought I was going to mess up a lot.
You didn't mess up any on your first job?
Yeah. And then I just had my second biggest order. It was like 60 hoodies, and I think I messed up like 1. So I was pretty proud of that. I was like, dang, like I thought I was going to mess up a lot more, but I just kind of I don't know, I just grabbed it by the reins and just said, let's do this. And, just approached it with confidence, and it came out pretty good.
That's awesome. So what is your next step? I mean, the next thing you want to get, is it going to be an upgrade press, or are you going to try to get a dryer?
I think I might go with a dryer, like a little conveyor dryer or something like that. Cause when I first started, after seeing all these videos and seeing everyone's presses and stuff like that, it kind of in a sense discouraged me, not a lot, but I'm like, man, I need this press to be able to do this, or I need this exposure unit to do this, and then I quickly figured out, it's not in your equipment. It's kind of on you, it's on the printer. So I kind of rolled back on telling myself, oh, I need to get this press. And I need to still study more of the fundamentals and get pricing down and get more clients in. So right now I'm just kind of not coasting it, but I'm still learning, and I don't want to jump into it too crazy. And then later on want to get something else, like you always say, do your research and sit on it before you jump on it. So I don't want to invest $8,000 or $9,000 on a press, and then later I need something else or do something different, or I'm not happy with it. So I'll probably just do a little conveyor dryer for now and see how it goes. But I definitely want to go full in.
I'm with you. I don't think it's good to be impulsive and just go out and get a piece of equipment because you You think that's what you need. I love the fact that you built your first press. I mean, I did the same thing. I went to, the hardware store and built my first press, and it was terrible. Like I couldn't hardly even print on it. But I like the fact that I did it because, I mean, then I understood what kind of makes a good press, like what I needed improved on how I built mine. And so I love that. And so you have a good understanding of what you really want in a press. I think my next move was when I was in your spot, my next move was a conveyor dryer, because that just totally changed. My bottleneck was at the dryer, like curing the shirts. So I was able to print pretty fast, especially if it was 1 or 2 color on a manual, but curing it slowed me down. And so my next thing was, okay, well, I want to be able to just, lay the hoodie on the conveyor and
a
then
lot.
Yeah.
I want to kind of go back to like what you were talking about as far as being like, you see people on the internet, you get discouraged or whatever, you see like the equipment people have and all that other stuff. And I feel like people should stop thinking that way so much, because realistically, all that stuff is just tools. And a lot of it is tools to be more efficient and just get more product out during the day rather than like quality.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely like things that help with quality for sure. But the truth of it is like you, as long as you study or like you try to educate yourself as much as humanly possible on printing techniques and off contact and everything you should have, like using the right screens and the right inks and all that other stuff, you can produce some super rad prints by hand in your garage. Everything, you know what I mean? Like me and Ryan were sitting here on Wednesday talking about stuff like that too. And like I bought shirts from his clothing line, and he has a fucking murder shed in his backyard with no electric, no water. He probably runs like an extension cord in there, and he made some super nice rad prints. And he's like, it's funny, I'll send these prints to like these companies that have all these autos, and they're checking out the feel of the prints that I have and then the sandpaper prints that they have. And he's like, I'm printing these in this fucking hot box shed in my backyard. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As long as you know the technique and you're, it's more of like, if you're in charge of your printing, you're the craftsman. You know what I mean? There's people who are just like shitty craftsmen. There's a dude who will come and put a deck on your house that falls apart in 2 years. And there's a dude who's going to, take his time and do it like ultra correct. And he knows all the technique and all that other stuff. And it's like, it's the same thing with printing. It's like, as long as you know what you're doing and you're, pulling ink through a screen, I feel like you can make super rad prints. So I wouldn't get discouraged. I would just take your time and do what you can do and what you can afford and grow when you can grow.
I like that, Dylan.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I think that to add to that, when you're printing automatically, you're not like one with the screen in a sense, because you could have a screen on the other side of the press and you cannot even see it. And you're running you're loading in shirts, and it comes around finally, and there's 14 shirts or 16 or however many, pallets you have. And it comes around. And like you said, it's rough because you're not clearing the screen. Whereas if you're manually printing, you're on top of it, looking down at it, and every single time, you're like, if you cleared it or not. And so
I feel like it's another art form though. It's like when we get an auto, it's like, you're still that craftsman. You just have to dial in that tool. You know what I mean? Like you're still, and it's funny. I had this conversation. Me and Andy were talking before the show started about this post I made on Friday or whatever of the 360 camera shot of the press. And let me read this comment that somebody left on that. There's always that guy who just has to say something. You know what I mean?
It was probably me. It was probably me. I commented. I wanted to comment so many things on that post.
You should have. All right. So this guy, I'm not going to say who it is because we kind of resolved it or whatever, but he said, this is the best monument, in quotes, symbol to modern society. Boring, alienating, mechanizing, repetitive, productive money, smothering, shallow, and terribly ugly. Damn, that is what he said.
Damn, he probably got replaced by one of those robot bachelor.
So I commented back and said, tons in all caps of craftsmanship and hard work goes into the print process. This machine is just a tool at the end of the project to put ink to screen. Behind that print is hours of artistry, making separations, mixing ink colors, finding the right garment, playing with pressures and squeegee angles. Thanks for the input, though.
Yeah.
Well said, Dylan.
And it's just like, dude, it's like literally that press or the shop, like all of it is just tools to get us to making the product that we want to make in the time that we need to make it in. You know what I mean?
No,
like
definitely.
It's the people that are here that are educated and know what they're doing that are being craftsmen about it. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like
without them, I mean, the press is just press.
Right. It's like you can have a fucking badass, like, you know, $200,000 auto, but if you don't know how to run it, your prints are still going to look like shit.
No, that's for sure.
So I'm off my soapbox. You guys can go back to.
No, I totally hear you on that. Cause like I said, I would get discouraged and I would think about it like, man, I need this. But at the end of the day, like I thought to myself, like, no, cause I remember when I started doing like carpentry work and stuff like that, I'm like, man, you know, like I need these tools and, you know, to be better. And then I remember the guy that was training me that I was working with, Tyler, he's super cool. Well, he was a dick at first, but then he warmed up to me because, you know, I was new. But he's just like, no, man, a hammer is a hammer at the end of the day, man. It's up to you on what you do with it. Because, I mean, any person could do whatever with what they have. But if you can't do the job right, then it's on you, not the machines or equipment. So
if I wasn't able to print like 400 or 500 shirts an hour, if we weren't able to print that, then our shirts would have to cost way more. And so I think that, you know, it's sort of like having, if you have a farm and you just plan everything by hand because it's, you know, it's a craft, your yield isn't going to be what it was if you have a tractor. I mean, I don't know, like you got to have equipment. And I think Dylan, you're absolutely right. It's scaling.
Yeah. And then the jobs that you guys are getting too are just massive amounts. I could only assume it's like, you guys are manually doing all that, you guys would not get anything done. You'd be so behind. Like, you know, I mean, you could do it, but it would just, you know, I don't know.
It just depends on your business model. Like you could just keep doing rad shit that you want to do. Like say you had a specific niche, you just did the certain kind of things you wanted to do, and you could just manually print your entire career. Like you could just have super cool prints printing all day long. It's like our buddies at Rockford Art Deli. It's like they print some super, super nice high-end retail garments, and they're all printed manually. You know what I mean? But that's the niche that he's into. Like that's what he's doing. Dylan, so it's like
I 100% said this on Thursday. You know, when I had that Thursday, like that, what happened on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
I said this to somebody. I said, I think I'm just going to go back to printing out of my garage because it was so much better in so many ways. I mean, when I was there and when I was in it, I thought I liked it and I liked my days, but I always thought I wanted to be, you know, in a like a building, in a space for a lot of reasons. But I made, before we get too far away from the fact that you are out of your garage, I made a top 10 reasons working out of your garage shop rules. And so you guys want to hear them?
Yes, I can't wait.
Oh, yeah.
And then if you have a couple, you can throw them our way because I'm sure I missed some. But my top 10 reasons were: number 10, no rent.
Sure.
Oh yeah, that's a definite play.
It is big. Number 9, daycare. It's hilarious because you said the same thing. You could watch your daughter while you were, you know, at home and you were printing shirts. And I had the same thing. I had a kiddo and, you know, we had him. And so we printed out of our garage and he was right there and we didn't have to, you know, drop him at daycare or anything like that. Number 8, no commute.
Yeah, you could print in your boxers if you really wanted to. Hot day.
Okay, so there you go. I missed that one. You can wear whatever you want. Yeah, you don't have to. You can print in anything or nothing.
Whatever you're into.
So that's number 8.5. We'll call it. Number 7, lunch at home. I love lunch at home. I don't get to eat lunch at home. I live just a little bit too far away from my house to really, you know, like go home for lunch. But we do every once in a while, but it's pretty rare. Number 6, one utility bill. And by that, I mean like gas, electric, internet, everything. Like when we were out of our house, Yeah, there was just one, and here we have 1,000.
The other point to that though too is that when you move out of the house and you get the exact same fucking internet in a business building, it's 10 times the cost just because you're a business versus in your house. Same
yeah,
internet.
didn't you call the cable lady one time and you said, "Hey, bitch"? Is that how you started? Yeah.
Yes.
So,
I said, "Listen here, bitch."
She didn't lower the bill.
Mm-mm.
She didn't lower the bill.
Oh man.
Number 5, late night printing. I like late night printing. I like, having dinner. I used to love having dinner, chilling for a little bit, and then going back out to the garage because maybe in the summer it was hot, but then it would cool down.
Oh yeah, it gets hot as balls in there right now, dude. Especially with the flash, and I can't even imagine with the conveyor.
Oh yeah. So it was awesome just to go back, late night printing. You can have a beer or whatever, and it was just a different vibe. It wasn't like it was day and I've got to hustle and get this stuff done. It was just more. I don't know. I liked it better. Number 4, if I was in a jam, my neighbors helped out. I had a couple neighbors that I was buds with. And like if I needed help, I would just like ring them up and say, "Hey, walk over here or help me out," or whatever. One time, in fact,
that's pretty cool.
one of my neighbors, across the street, named Orville, we printed all night. Orville Redenbacher. He had the night off from popcorn, but he came over and we printed all night, like through the night. Like it was for a hospital system here had a fire, and everybody responded really well. And we're already doing shirts for them for their gift shop. And they called and said, "Hey, we need shirts for everybody, that works at this hospital." And there was like 3,000. And so we went and got the shirts. There used to be a place in St. Louis called St. Louis Tees. And so we had a shirt distributor here. So we picked up the shirts and printed them through the night, like 3,000 of them on a manual press. And he helped me out. We kind of, I think, passed out at around like sunrise. And we had to like get a quick nap in before we finished the rest of them. But we finished them. Number 3, and this is a big one, private bathroom. It is so good just to walk in from your garage and go to your bathroom. Here,
you don't have to worry about like 30 asses sitting on it in one day. And
well, half the time I walk into the bathroom here, it's destroyed. Like I have to turn around and walk out.
It's funny too, because we used to only have the one main bathroom in the shop, and it's loud in the shop, shit's happening, whatever. And I never thought about it. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, we're getting rid of this bathroom. I'm going to put in like a small thing, and then we're going to have the office bathroom. But most of the time we have like loud music playing in the office too. So it's okay. But sometimes we have no music playing, no nothing. And it's fucking quiet. Everybody's just doing their own thing. They might have headphones on or they're not. They're just sitting at their desk doing their thing. And the new bathroom is like, I don't have any paintings up yet. It's just like an echoey room, whatever. And Sarah's desk is like right across from the bathroom, like a decent, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 feet. But she can basically is like right next to the door as far as sight. And we started playing a new game in the office of guess where in the bowl I'm pissing. Because she says that I piss the loudest out of anybody here. And then the other day
means you're healthy.
Well, I said bigger the hose, bigger the stream. But we're in there, and I asked her one day, I was like, all right, we're going to play guess where I'm pissing. And then she guessed, and I said, nope. And then I said I was pissing in the sink. So I won. Trick question. But yeah, I agree with Andy now that like I have the new office bathroom. Like I need to put like sound panels in there, or, I feel like some of these people would appreciate a second shop loud music around bathroom for privateness.
Yeah, man. I remember that takes me back to my old construction job. Whenever we'd get there in the morning, or we'd have to come get like another job order or something inside like the office, like it's a house, and they converted it to their business. And we just go in there and check in every morning, whatever, and they send us to our jobs. And I would always hate taking shifts in there because it's like in the middle of everything, and it's like the smell goes everywhere, and you come out and it's like, oh, you're that fucking dude that stunk up the whole house. Like, that was the worst.
So number 2 question.
Yep.
That should have been your number 2 question, by the way.
That should have been my number 1, probably. But number 2 is overhead door means fresh air, and because I loved it. I mean, I had the door open most of the time I was in there because I did put a conveyor dryer in my garage, and I didn't have it exhausted through the roof because I couldn't. I could put it out the side, I think, but I just never did, which was bad.
Is that something you need to do?
For health?
Yeah.
For health?
I mean, mine was that conveyor dryer was an electric dryer, so it's not. I guess you don't have to, but I think you should for sure.
Well, it's just the fumes coming out of the inks.
Yeah, that's how I get too when I'm curing like all that stuff and like the smoke comes up. I'm just kind of like, should I be breathing?
No, not really.
No, I don't think that.
Ventilation. At least open a window and turn a fan on.
Well,
no,
number 2. Or just open your garage. I don't know if you're on a street, because I was on a dead end. And so if I opened up my garage, it didn't matter. Like I wasn't going to have somebody drive by and report me for having a shop.
I guess it depends though too, because Marcotte has a funny story about when he was printing out of their like home thing, that they opened the door, same thing, because it's hot or whatever. But they did a poster print of, say it was like 100 posters, 98 of them had dead mosquitoes on it. Because it was like so hot, and they were printing and there was mosquitoes everywhere that like they kept getting in the screen.
It was like night or something, and they'd fly in.
Yeah, and they were just printing and they couldn't see. And then he's like, maybe like 3 or 4 out of the whole run didn't have like a dead mosquito on it.
Oh man.
So, I mean, you can open your doors, but just be weary of moths and bugs and everything else coming in.
Well, I got away. I guess I got away with it because, the shirt went through the conveyor and it was dry at the other end, whereas the poster is sitting out there drying and it's wet for a while, and the bug lands on it. You're fucked. But my number one reason for working out of your garage: no rent. I know it was number 10, already. But I know, but it actually is.
I thought that was the first one.
Yeah, but I don't have rent.
Yeah, I guess you're right, but it's free. Your garage is free essentially, and so when you're starting, or I don't know, when you're not, there's always I guess there's rent. And if you own your own building, well, you have essentially you have an investment. You have cash that's tied up in a property that you're not getting interest on,
and it's another property I have to deal with and maintain and everything else.
Sure.
I think that's another thing too, that, like COVID and all that, and all the small businesses starting up kind of showed them you don't necessarily need like a storefront to have a business, like you can operate out of your home, whether it's for your work or yourself, So that's pretty cool in itself too, because I honestly thought I needed like a print shop. I needed like a storefront to get business and stuff like that. When I first got into it, I'm like, man, I'm not going to get any clients because I don't have a storefront or anything like that, or, but really it's just kind of, I think it's just more just kind of set you up more like as like professionalism. Not saying that out of the garage isn't, but like you don't want a million people showing up to your garage to pick up shirts and stuff like that, unless, you don't mind it. Yeah. But that whole pandemic thing kind of just showed me like you don't necessarily need like a storefront to, unless you have like a million employees and they're not working at your house, you know what I mean? But like, if it's just you, like you're fine,
It just depends on your market. Like we didn't have a front door for like the first 4 years. Like nobody comes here. Like we ship everything.
Yeah, you say you're kind of like somewhere like it's a small town, right? Like it's kind of.
Yeah, like we could have local business. Like we could have people walk in, and we do now for sure. But like when I first started in the print industry was when I moved to Georgia, and I was in Atlanta at the shop there, and like I was in the sales office, and it was like half my day every day was walk-ins, like people coming in, and I'd have to sit there, and they'd be like, "Oh, I want to start a clothing line." And then in the end, you quote them on 12 shirts when they said they wanted like 10,000. and then they never order anything anyway, and it was just a giant waste of time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I knew that when I came back to New York, I was like, fuck that. Like, I'm not dealing with local. And we didn't like advertise local. We didn't do anything local. It was just all internet stuff. So like literally UPS just dropped off at noon and they picked up at 5:30. So like that was the only interaction we had other than the employees that were here. And it's kind of still true now. Like we definitely have people coming in and we have meetings and we talk about stuff, but that's just from like growth and word of mouth and people knowing where we are and, you know, whatever, like, but it's not a daily routine for us. It's not like every day someone's in here. So it's definitely doable to just do like online business and just ship everything and nobody ever has to come to your house. But it just depends on what you're into. Like if you're like relying on your city or your town to get business, then yeah, you're going to have people showing up at your house.
Yeah, that like a lot of my stuff that I've gotten, really it's not even local. It's all through the internet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is cool, you know, because I was thinking like when you bring up, you know, like I don't want to just be printing like, you know, contractor stuff. I want to print like cool stuff, you know, and that's what you kind of put out there. That's what I've been trying to do, but like the clients are still coming in, so I haven't really picked that up just yet. But like I kind of reserved some prints just to not put them out there so much, so people don't just think I'm just doing this, you know, type thing. So I kind of
1,000%. I mean, like I said, we do a lot of cool stuff because I don't know, it's just what happened. But there's 1,000 for every one cool thing. There's like 35 things that are just like normal shit. You know what I mean? It's like jack.
Which is fine. I like printing in general, like just no matter what it is, you know.
Yeah.
But it's also cool to get those like rad prints to just do.
Right. I'm just saying, as far as like a marketing or a face to your company or what you want to do, you know, you project kind of what you want to get back, and that's it. Really, it's not like I said, it's not like every job we get is this rad 12 color hand drawn fucking custom thing. We do a lot of those, but like I said, the day to day is just full of random shit that comes in. You know, it's always word of mouth. You being open for 11 years or whatever. It's like, you know, Johnny told Sally and Sally told Tom, and it's just like you end up with business from everywhere.
And then you get some shirts on Rogan. That was pretty sick.
Yeah. But it is what it is. Like I said, it's just realistically, you shouldn't look at other. We're going way back now to what we were originally talking about, but you shouldn't necessarily just want what everyone else has. You should just go your own pace, figure your own shit out, get your own flow.
Should be a purple cow.
Yeah. Be a purple cow.
Yeah.
But I have had this saved on my computer for a long time. It's a quote from Finn the Human in Adventure Time, but it says, everything small is just a smaller version of something big. So being a garage shop, you know, everybody started there. Nobody can tell you otherwise. Like who walked into the print industry with like a 5 auto warehouse with like 55 employees? It's like everybody started at I fucking made a 2x4 press in my garage, and I was in a hallway. I was in a bathroom.
Yeah, the stories, the stories, and just the come ups, you know, because I mean, everybody that gets into it, from what I've seen on the shirt show and just like from meeting people and stuff like that, it's like everyone starts from like ground zero, you know, and just from
it's just
like
it's the truth of it. Don't let anybody punk you.
It's nice.
Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
So how are you going to go from, or do you even like, what's your long-term goal? How are you going to go from, I know you said you wanted to be all in and do screen printing full time, but what is your plan? So are you going to be able to accomplish that, let's say this year or in 2 years? I mean, what's your vision? Do you have a plan?
Well, really, it's just, I feel like I can personally, like to myself, like if I put my head all into it, like I can do it. But for now, I'm just going to keep the 9 to 5 and just grind, build my clients and stuff like that, save my money for new equipment, stuff like that, and eventually grow. But everything that I kind of do, I kind of just I somewhat plan it out in a sense, like for like social media aspects and stuff like that. I feel like that kind of, for me at least, is what is getting me clients. So I'm just gonna work on that while I'm at work, like whether it's posting photos from like 4 months ago or recently, and just kind of just putting it out there. Because when I first started screen printing, like I was legit like was so hyped. I would just do one shirt and make it seem like I was doing like, you know what I mean? Like I would just do a video to one and just have fun, and I was learning and stuff like that. So I figured I came from that to this in like 4 or 5 months. I don't see why I can't grow even bigger in like a year and a half. I just gotta just kind of plan it out better, because right now it's still like a hobby in a sense, because it's not a full-on career. It's not paying my bills like all crazy, but I wanna get it there. But as far as like a plan, I kind of don't really have one right now. Like in my head, I tell myself like I want to do all this, and when I was doing graffiti or when I was doing carpentry or automotive and now screen printing, like I kind of just dive in and then just give it my all. So I'm hoping that within like a year and a half, I'd probably try and pull the trigger again and see if I could do it. And if not, then, you know, fall back and just try it again, you know, as far as getting like steady work and stuff like that, you know, like repeat customers and stuff like that, and building relationships with people.
Does your girlfriend, does she also want to get into this? I mean, you said she has a Cricut machine. Is that what she does full time, or is it?
No, she's a medical assistant, and what she does, she crafts. She does those custom tumblers and stuff like that. And even with her, like she's I give a lot of my business and stuff like that credit to her, because she helps me a lot. You know, she's really smart. And with her, it's the same thing as me with like screen print. It just started off as a hobby, and like before she had all of her equipment, she was like spinning it like with a bat, you know, like 'cause you have to epoxy them and do all this stuff. And before we even knew about like machines for it, she was spinning it with a bat and stuff like that. And now she's like grown it to like this big thing, you know. She's almost like 25K followers on Instagram and stuff like that. And within like a year and a half, I'm like, God damn, you know, like she grinds, man.
That's awesome.
Like, business wise, she has so many orders, you know, and like I admire that, you know, and that kind of just turns me like my fire on. Like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, it's inspiration. You know what I mean? Like you see it in her, and to me, that's like one of the biggest things with like social media is, like I said, you don't want to see other people and think like, fuck, I need to have that. But in reality,
that's a thing too. Yeah, like
part of it is just inspiration and motivation. You know what I mean? It just gets you to be better.
That's how you should look at it. And a lot of things like with social media, some people will see this and they'll think like, oh, I need this. Reality is like, no, you know, like you don't need to think that way. Like just do you, you know what I mean? Like that's how I was with my equipment, at least. So you just got to figure it out and just, like you said, take it for inspiration and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's funny you guys brought up Cricut, and I've had this note on my laptop like since my Chicago trip, which was whatever, a month ago or a couple weeks ago or whatever. And it was funny, like as printers, we like to nerd out with like other printers, and we've joked about this a couple times, but it's like you rarely get to talk about it unless it's another printer, or you hope and pray you walk up to a random individual's conversation in an airport and they start talking about t-shirts and you're like, oh yeah, I'm a printer. And then you just start having a conversation. But I was going through like the TSA checkout and where was I? Well, I was in Syracuse, I think. And the lady who was running the machine that you go in through, you know, and like put your arms up and that scans you. She just started talking to her friend who was like another TSA agent at the line, like pushing the bags through. And the one lady's like, oh yeah, you know, I heard you made shirts for so-and-so. And, you know, I have my side business. Can you make shirts for me? And she's like, yeah, you know, I've been cutting a bunch of stuff on my Cricut. And so this lady had like a super, like she had a t-shirt side hustle other than TSA where she's making shirts for people with her Cricut. And I'm just like, I'm listening to the whole conversation like for like 5 minutes because I'm waiting for like my laptop and my shoes and everything else to come through the thing. And I'm just biting my tongue. I didn't want to, the one lady was like, oh, I kind of want to get like, you know, these like 100% poly, like red polos and stuff. Can like you do those? And the one lady's like, I don't know. I've never tried like heat pressing on those and stuff. And I kind of wanted to be like jump in and have a conversation with them. But I also wanted to like, I also just wanted to get out of TSA. You know what I mean? I wanted to get out of the checkout. So I feel like if I started having a conversation, I would have been like stuck.
You're like total dick move. You like walk up and you're like, move over. And you hand them your business card. And he's like, I got you on these. I got you on your 100% poly.
Well, the other part is I just didn't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be that guy of like pushing up my glasses, be like, well, you need this kind of ink. And
yeah.
I just fuck it. Let the lady have her moment and let her start her business. It's the same thing. Like I said, back to the thing. It's like she could just be starting out, like your fiance or wife or girlfriend or whatever, where she's just kind of like she started making tumblers on a bat, and now she's like getting the next step, and she's got all these followers and stuff. And you never know where that could go. She could fucking buy all the equipment to make these like laser engraved tumblers with like custom designs on them and all that stuff. And you never know what's going to happen. This lady at TSA could like start a print business and then get out of TSA and own a shop that eventually me and Andy will talk to. So
I never even thought I would talk to you guys. I was telling my fiance, I woke up to the message and I was like, holy fuck, like these guys want to interview me. I think they sent it to the wrong person, you know? She's like, no way, the easy way people. The easiest way, I'm like, yeah, them, because like
the easy way people.
Every Sunday, I'll like after everything, we'll kind of just decompress in the living room. She'll do whatever she's doing, editing or whatever, and I'll throw it on my phone. I'll game it or whatever. So she hears the intros and everything, and she laughs and she enjoys it too, because you guys give stuff like not just screen printing, just business wise and everything. You guys drop a lot of good stuff, you know, and she enjoys it herself. Well, it's pretty funny.
Don't feel weird that we contacted you. We're just two dudes talking about printing, and like we don't care. I mean, we care who we talk to, but like anybody who's into printing. Not weird, but
yeah, I called my mom and I told her I made it, Mom. You know, famous. You know. Check me out next week. No, but yeah.
Yeah, we're deleting this episode.
Yeah, no. When I was waiting too, I was like, "Fuck!" It's like 2:03. Like maybe they just stood me up. You know, when they sent Happy Gilmore out to the field and turn on the water. So I'm just like, no, well, we'll see. I'll just wait.
No,
and then you guys popped up.
I feel like we were talking a lot back and forth in messages, and also, I mean, you support us so hard. Like you're always engaged, and so I'm like, man, we all felt like we need to talk to this guy, you know, see what his story is, and so I appreciate you coming on. We're not done here. This almost
no.
I almost feel like
we're not winding down.
Like, all right, guys, bye.
No, we're just ramping up. Hey, Matt, if you're listening, we got 2 more hours still.
That's right.
But back to what Dylan was saying about the whole Cricut thing, like another thing, like how Andy was saying, like, do you see yourself jumping into screen printing like full time and stuff like that? And I remember a couple episodes back, I forgot who it was, but you guys were talking about the DTFs and transfers and stuff like that. And it seems like a lot of DIYers are heading towards that way. And like the people that would initially kind of hit you up for stuff are kind of doing it themselves and just pressing it. Do you guys just think like that's gonna kind of eventually drown out the screen printing? Because I mean, all it's gonna take is for Cricut to just make that fucking machine, and then, you know, boom, it's gonna be in everyone's home, you know.
I feel like, in all honesty, and this is a dick thing to say, but like it's gonna get rid of a lot of the bullshit small customers nightmare orders that we don't want anyway.
Like under 50.
Well, not necessarily saying anything under 50 is a bullshit order, but a lot of times it's just the people that are like, I just want to order 12 shirts at a time, and I want to go 50 emails deep, and I want to do this and that. And there's a lot of customers. There's a lot of customers like that are good customers. They're just good people, just want to place an order. But there's a lot of people, it just happens to be in that area that like, And it's one of those things like I kind of roll my eyes at, and it's a negative thing. I probably shouldn't do that. But I get a lot of DMs that are just like, they don't ask me like, hey man, how's it going? I saw your Instagram and I'm thinking about placing an order. It's always just like, how many colors can you print and what's your minimum? It's like every time I see what's your minimum, it's just kind of like, oh, like, why do you got to ask like what the minimum is? Like it to me, it's just like, oh, they want to get as minimal amount as possible. And then they say, how many colors can you print? And then I have to be like, well, if you're going to get, technically we can print like a 14 color print, but if you're going to get 14 colors, the minimum's like 100 shirts and so on. It's just kind of like, just come to me with a project and say, hey, this is what I want to do.
Do you guys, whenever you get one of those contacts and it says, hey, I'm looking for the best price, I feel like you're looking for the wrong shop if that's what you're looking for. Do you even answer those? Like, hey, I'm looking for the best price after they say, there are, do you even answer them?
A lot of times I just delete them.
Yeah, I wish I could get to that point, but right now I'm trying to, build clients. But then at the end of the day, sometimes I'm kicking myself in the ass. Like, why did I open that message or why did I respond? Thinking it could lead to a potential client or something, and then in the end, it's like, oh, I'm shopping around. I'll message back. Or sometimes there's people that just want to.
I was going to say the problem is it's a catch-22 because, like I said, it's a dick thing to say. And I know we're all thinking it. So like I can get that out of the way. I can say the dick thing because I know we're all thinking it, even though we know like, oh, the customer's always right. And we'll have this whole conversation, whatever, blah, blah. But the truth of it, the catch-22 is that there's always those people who just need 12 shirts. They're not trying to start a clothing line. They're not trying to whatever. They just need 12 at the time. And I had the story I've told a bunch of times, but it's like, one of my biggest customers I ever got was the Atlanta Braves. And the reason why I got that customer is because I did that 12-piece order.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like it's more of like a personality or the way they ask you things is the red flag of like, should I say yes or should I say no? Because like, if it's just a sweet person and they're just being like, hey, I need 12 shirts for a family reunion and whatever. It's like, okay, cool. Let's do it. But if somebody just comes right off the bat and is like, give me the cheapest price ever, and I want to do 8 colors, and I want to do this, this, and this, and this, and this, and it's just like, some of it's in your wheelhouse and some of it's not. That's where you say like, no, sorry, we're full, or I can't do your order, or, whatever. Right. I feel like you should kind of, I know you want to build clients, but you should also like say no sometimes when it's stuff where you're just like, especially in a garage, like, and you don't have tools. Like you might get somebody who comes to you and is like, hey, I want 100 hoodies, but I need 3 color bolt sleeves and a 5 color back and a 3, whatever. It's like this huge job. Like A, either sub it out if you can't handle it, or B, look at it and see like, am I actually going to make money on this? Because this 4 locations on this hoodie that I don't have the proper flash for, the proper dryer or whatever, like, you might end up burning yourself and reprinting those 3 times before you can get it to the customer because you're still learning or you're whatever. It's like, I've know.
So my answer to, is that going to replace screen printing? I think, I don't see how it can. I mean, yes, I agree with Dylan in the smaller, or shorter runs, lots of colors type of thing. But we had a job come through here last week that was 4,000 left sleeves, 4,000 right sleeves, 4,000 fronts. How are you going to do that faster, more efficiently with DTF? I don't know how you do it. I mean, it's screen printed. It was a giant print too.
Yeah, so, that's true.
It was. I don't know how it can replace that. I don't know how it can be faster, because I guess that's what your goal is to be faster, right? To output more per hour. In that instance, and so I don't know how it replaces those type of jobs. So screen printing is around forever when it comes to that.
Well, it's even the same argument with people saying like digital coming in and like taking over versus screen printing. And again, that's a whole nother discussion where we've already talked about. And it's basically, we come to the conclusion of it's just another tool in your tool chest, like for specific things, whatever. And it's like, screen printing is never going to go away. Like there's always going to be screen printing because, like Andy said, like, yeah, you might have a digital printer, but if somebody comes to you and wants 10,000 black shirts with a white print on it, you're going to screen print that all day long. You're not going to digitally print that. It makes no sense.
pre-treat 10,000 shirts.
Well, it's just like you need to do the math. Like I said, like we're eventually going to probably get a digital squeegee maybe in a couple of years. But like I really want to dig in and do the math and be like, okay, like where is the transition of me, if it making a lot more sense for me to run these digitally versus printing them like screen printing? Because we can screen print almost anything with like processes and whatever else. But it's like, does it make more sense to anything after a 4-color print to do digitally, and anything under 4 colors to screen print? Because you got to start thinking it's not necessarily on press, it's separations, it's, you know, instead of making 3 screens, I got to make 12 screens, and then I got to mix 12 inks and everything else. So it's like you need to account all those things in to find out where it makes sense. But like I said, the actual screen printing, even with a digital squeegee, you're still screen printing. Like you're screen printing the underbase because that's the hardest part of the process.
Well, a couple times, even sometimes maybe even 2 underbases and also a top coat.
Yeah. So I'm just saying it's a thing that's always going to be here. There's just other tools in your toolbox. And that's kind of where we use like Supercolor. Like we're using those kind of transfer. Supercolor is kind of a different thing, but like DTF stuff or just screen printed transfers in general, like we order them sometimes or we make them in house for specific projects because it's another resource, another tool in our toolbox. So like I said, if that's why I went on that rant about people that want like 12-piece, 12-color orders and stuff. It's like we get a lot of those. Like we get a lot of people that come to us and are like, hey, I want to start a clothing line, but I don't have a lot of money, but I have this artwork and it's like a 9-color print, but I really only need like 20 pieces. Then I'm like, all right, well, if you're just getting these to like do a photo shoot, or you're just getting these to get them in your friend's hands so that you can grow this, and then eventually you come to us and want to get them like 200 of them screen printed, that's like the perfect place to use those transfers, because you can get digitally printed transfers and do those 20 shirts. It's still going to be a decent print. It's not going to be something that lasts forever like a screen print is, but it's going to be a real good thing for them to get started. So that's where we use it, is it's just like, so we don't have to say no or burn that bridge or whatever. It's kind of like, let me do what I can do to help you out, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally.
You know, earlier how we were talking about that having stock colors. And I said I wanted to talk about that a little further.
You want to do that now?
I want to do that now. Yeah. Okay. So, and you probably already do this, I'm not sure. But my shop hack for that is that we have our stock colors, right? And we created a swatch like a library in Illustrator with those exact colors. And so we probably have talked about this before, but I wanted to reiterate it that's it's really makes things easy, because you know, whatever you're designing with, you just choose one of your stock colors and you have that swatch that you just choose from, and boom, it matches up just perfectly. Makes it easy. And so instead of going, because I know you said you mixed almost every color all the time, whether it was stock or not, I know you're converting over to some stock colors. That's the way I like to do it.
Yeah. So to break it down for the people who don't really know what me and you're talking about, the backstory is that, or if you're like Matt Marcotte and you don't listen to all of our episodes, the backstory is that we had a debate a while ago and got Aaron from Monarch involved. Was I mix every color, like not for every job, because when we mix like 1,000 grams, and then if we only use 300, there's 700 back on the shelf. So we have ink walls of like all the Pantones we've ever mixed, basically. So most of the time we have a color on the shelf already and they can use it for the job. But every day we are mixing inks because we run out or we need more or whatever the case is. And then we had this debate of what's more cost effective, either buying a gallon or a 5-gallon or whatever it is of a certain color, like your whatever blue, and just having it as a stock color, or mixing it with bases and pigments. And what we found out from Aaron is that the actual cost of just like the raw materials in those 2 inks it's like 10 cents cheaper to just buy a gallon of that pre-mixed ink than it is to mix it with the materials that we have in the shop. But we didn't account in the fact of like an employee actually mixing those inks by hand and, everything else. So it's actually more expensive to mix the ink. But if you're making, doing jobs that take tons of custom colors, or you have clients that are giving you Pantones, you need to mix them. Like, you definitely need a mixing system. But like I said, is we don't have a stock color chart. Like, we don't have, like 40, 50 colors on one shelf where the people in the office can pick those first if it's just like a basic job, or if somebody's got like red, green, blue, purple, and they're not picky and they just want red, green, blue, and purple, then we should be able to make it more efficient in the shop and make it faster to just be like, okay, it's this purple on the stock shelf. So instead of them going and mixing, 1,000 grams of that color, they can just go over to that purple gallon, grab it, go print, just making it faster. So for me, I'm not doing it to try to cheapen anything. I'm trying to do it to make the shop more efficient and faster in their day. So there's less ink.
Not to cheapen anything. I mean, and maybe your shop, the work you do is, and I think it is pretty different than us sometimes. And so, but we've always had it so that we have a royal blue, and that's our royal blue, or a navy. Right. Like, we're not going to go mix navy or royal blue.
No. And I agree. And the reason why I said cheaper is because I feel like there are some shops that they don't mix anything. They just have 50 colors. You know what I mean? They're just like, these are the only 50 colors we offer. If you have, somebody comes to us and they have this artistic, they hand drew it, they made all the colors in Photoshop, whatever, and they give it to us. And it's one of those like weird browns or a flesh tone or like a blue that's weird or something. And it's like, that's where we look at it as, okay, we don't want to use royal blue for that, because it's
right.
Weird, it's different. It's not royal blue. I feel like some places that do have those only 50 colors are like, well, too bad. Sorry, you picked Blue Mountain Rush or some shit. And then
too bad. So sad. But do you charge though for mixing? So if somebody comes in and they want that special brown, you charge, right? Please say yes.
No.
Mind blown.
No. It's just part of it. It's like an underbase to me. It's like, I don't charge.
Why wouldn't you charge
for an underbase?
No, you're going to charge. Why wouldn't you charge somebody? I mean, that doesn't. They're asking you to mix a color, custom color for them because they want that brown.
But they're not asking. They don't. To me, it's just one of those things. It's like a behind the scenes. Like, it's part of making the donuts. Like,
not me. If somebody comes in and says,
I just don't want to nickel and dime a customer and be like, oh, well, you want this print? Well, because it's a 10 color, you have to order 100 shirts right off the bat. Like, you have to have this minimum in there, because they originally only wanted 50. And they're like, well, you got to get 100. And then they're like, okay, cool, I'll do 100. And they like scrounge together enough money to do 100. And then you're like, hey, all of these colors are custom colors, so that's going to be another like $15 per mix. And then
hell yeah,
shipping's going to be this. And
or you can choose what we have in stock. But if you want us to go mix these colors, that takes time and that costs money. And so it's not just like part of making the donuts, because if I went into the donut shop and I said, hey, by the way, I want a Pantone 254 donut, they'd be like, well, that's a custom donut, bro.
Point me in the direction of the donut shop that has Pantone 154.
Well, there probably is. And if I asked them to make that, well, then they would, and they'd charge me.
We could have the same argument about your art department. You don't charge for art.
It's included. We charge.
It's included. That's exactly what I just fucking said.
Time out. It is. You get 1 hour of art when you place an order of here, but it's included in the price. But it's figured in the price for me to not take an hour to mix an ink. Well, that's all you had to say. So you
just say I win and I was right. That's all you got to say.
No. So you're telling me that you already have charged. Well, then you were overcharging some people, because if you have person A that comes in and says, nope, don't need any mixed colors, I'll just put orange on there. It's already figured in the price. But then you have person B that comes in and says, I want Pantone whatever orange. You're charging them the same? Like it's the same price? That doesn't make sense.
Okay. We'll agree to disagree. And sorry you had to be part of this while the parents were arguing. You had to be the kid on the couch sitting back and watching.
Well, at least he knows who's right. At least he knows who's right. So
he knows who's right.
You mix.
I'm happy to be here.
Do you mix? How do you do it? So let's say somebody wants navy. Do you mix that navy, or do you have a stock navy?
If it's just like a color that I think I'm going to use in the future, then I'll just order like a quart of it or something, or But for the most part, I keep just colors already pre-bought like that. This job that I have coming up, I have to mix the brown to kind of match the brown that's going to be in the shirt. So that's going to be kind of like my first mix. So
Please say you charge them. Please say you charge them. So you're Team Andy.
Don't say you didn't. Fucking man up and say you didn't charge them and that we're on the same team.
I didn't charge them, but I also screwed myself because I didn't think about it. So I'm kind of just printing for free. So I lost. So, but I mean, it's a learning. It's a learning experience. But as far as like mixing, I probably would charge, but like the whole underbase thing, I don't see why to charge for underbase because it's just, you know what I mean? It's just the white going over white. But if I'm going to mix a color and I'm going to have to like, you know, flick my wrist or some shit, I'm probably going to charge. So I'm actually doing something because the white's already there, you know, like I could just hit it one more time, whatever. But if I have to mix, then I probably would charge. Not like a crazy amount, but you know, like an extra $5 or something. I don't know.
All right. I'm just gonna back off for now. We'll bring this back up later.
Like, I was starting to like you, man.
Well, all right. Next topic is you're in Oakland, right?
No, I'm in Oregon.
What? How did I have this so wrong?
They both start with O's.
I just geotag random places for exposure. Like most of the time, I don't even geotag where I'm actually at.
But you wear
don't know where
Oakland,
he is right now.
You wear a Raiders apron.
Oh yeah, I'm a Raider fan. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no.
Okay, where in Oregon are you?
I'm in Independence, Oregon. It's a small town. It's like probably like 10,000 people, if that. I'm originally from California, Salinas, California. I just moved up to Oregon maybe like, I want to say going on 4 years now or 3 years.
Okay.
Hey, good for you, man. You're not in Oakland.
No, I was always there when I was in California. You know, it's not too far from me, but yeah, no, I'm not.
Well, I was just gonna tell you my Oakland story and that how I used to live there.
No, go for it. I can relate. I know a lot lot about it.
Come on, Andy. I want to hear your Oakland story.
I used to live within walking distance of Lake Merritt. And we lived with my dad's sister, who was famous, like a famous rock star at the time. And I was really young though. So this was a long time ago. It was like the 40s or something, right, Dylan? It was a long time. But Oregon is great too. I have driven from San Francisco to Seattle before, and it was a slower way to go, but I wanted to drive up one, you know, like right on the coast. And so,
oh yeah, the one is a beautiful drive.
It was so great.
Mm-hmm.
Along the Oregon Trail.
Yeah, it was right along the Oregon Trail.
Yeah. What's it called? I don't know if it was Bruce or whoever's at Printavo. They came to Oregon this week, if not last week. I forgot when. And they were going to stop by my garage, but I kind of pussied out and just kind of like, oh, you know, I'm not home type thing. But then I messaged them back, like, you know, I was kind of nervous to even have you guys over. Because they were saying, like, they posted something on the story, like, hey, who's in the Portland area, you know, we want to visit some shops. And I was like, oh, you know, I can't wait to see you guys interview. Like, it'd be cool to have you guys here, but I'm a small ass shop. You guys would never show up. And they fucking messaged me like, oh, how's, you know, 10 a.m. on Mondays and that. And I was like, holy fuck, I was not ready for that.
Dude, so you need to be more confident in that stuff for real though. Just like let people in and like embrace what you are now. Like,
yeah. No, that's why when you guys literally hit me up the next day and I was like, holy fuck, I can't tell these guys no. And it's over it's over like Skype or whatever. So, I mean, how bad could it be?
Did you hear that, Bruce? Hey, Bruce, did you hear that? He turned you down, but not us.
No, I don't know. I just got super nervous. So I felt really bad. And at the end, I was like, fuck, I should probably had them over, you know, just
because whatever. You say you're a small ass shop, but just like Dylan said earlier, he said, small is just a bigger, smaller version of bigger. What did you say, man?
Yeah, no, you nailed it.
And so it's I think it's really interesting, and that's like why we're talking to you too, because we all have common things we do every day, and it doesn't matter what scale you are. It's we can relate, and that's what I think is so great about talking to people every week, is that this is hard. Screen printing is hard, and it can be lonely. And here we are talking with friends, and so it feels good.
Yeah, no, the whole like screen printing like world, like everyone is for the most part just they're helpful and just really cool. I've made 2 good friends with DC Print Shop and Lookout just through screen printing. And at first they'd be like, oh, how do you do this or this and this? But now it's like I talk to them almost every day and we just talk about whatever, like not even necessarily screen printing.
Dude, I have my like core group of friends here locally that like I grew up with and that I'm like really close friends with. But I feel the same way about some of them as I do with like some of the people I've met in the industry, like Andy, and like there's a bunch of other people that I talk to like almost daily in like Instagram or like visiting their places or whatever. It's just like I feel like those are like real close friends that I could say almost anything to. So I feel like that's like I said, the best part about a lot of this is it's just like community, and a lot of us came from the same place. That's what I mean. It's like it's so much commonality. Like just because I'm from New York and you're from Oakland, is that like we have a lot of commonality, even though we're in totally different places. Like me and you, we both like collect the action figures, and we're into screen printing, and whatever. We have beards. Like if you live down the street, we'd be fucking best bros. So
yeah, beard game.
It's the same. It's the same thing.
All right.
Can you guys hear me?
You back in the garage?
Yep.
I try to see if it works. Can you guys hear me or no?
I can. Yeah.
Yep. I can hear you. So let's go. We got some listener questions, right?
Let's just do a bunch of them. The funny thing is, and I really appreciate this, just so you guys know, like no joke, I appreciate you giving me questions. I also appreciate that probably out of every time I post a thing about questions and I get 50 questions, probably about 30 of them just say, send nudes or take your pants off.
That's awesome.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, slide into my DMs, guys. I mean, I'll take care of you. No worries.
Well, I mean, you have me sending you the gorilla with titty slides.
Perfect. I actually saved that on my phone to send to people. So again, weird stuff, anything, I'm all for it. All right. So, and the other ones are real questions. And some of these were pertaining to things that we already were talking about. So it's kind of nice. Let's see here. Let me pull up the thing so I can see what all the questions are. Yeah, first one, more nudes. Isn't really a question. I feel like they're wrong. I feel like they accidentally found out. They weren't sure how to spell Dylan. So it's from JMH Graphics. He says, is Andy really people's sexiest man alive 2021?
You just made that up.
That's real. That's real question. The answer is no. Next question. Let's see here from our good buddy at Inkfinity Print. When are y'all coming to North Carolina to visit Monarch, Inkfinity, and Rod Tees?
Oh,
well,
nice.
Me and Andy are gonna hook up with our buddy Tyler at TC, and we're gonna do that U.S. road trip. So sooner than later.
Sure,
you do have to get there. Isn't Scott in Carolinas somewhere too?
Scott's in Virginia. He'd be on the way.
Right.
Also, Josh Grizzly Wheeler's in North Carolina.
Oh, that'd be a party.
That'd be dope.
Any tips for getting rid of palette marks left behind from squeegee?
Yes, just a little mist at the end of the dryer. bottle of mist, just water. You know, people just mist it on there. You've done that probably too, right?
Mhm. Yeah, like a
Got some
steamer
pressure
you can
marks.
use too.
Mhm. I think they're talking about pressure marks, and I think the best way to avoid that pressure mark is to not have them.
Right.
And the way you not have them is call Frank.
And get
GS.
thin thread and not use as much pressure.
Exactly.
Favorite businesses to print for and least favorite.
I mean, really, I don't have a favorite right now. I just like printing in general. Just, you know, an excuse to just put some ink down and just
That's a beautiful answer.
get in the zone.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
We're gonna go with your answer on that one.
Yeah.
Let's see. When printing white, always PFP, single hit ever, explain to customer, upcharge for PFP. We kind of talked about this a little bit where we might PFP some jobs that are solid white or that are low quantities, but really anything over whatever 24 pieces or something is getting underbase white and highlight white.
Right. Yeah, we don't PFP often. I think, we talked a few episodes ago. I think we hit on this, but you're probably the same way. We don't. In other words, we don't have the same exact white screen in two heads and print that same exact white screen. As long as we're making a different white screen, maybe the closest thing would be is that they're different mesh counts. And so maybe there's an underbase in a 158 and then there's a top in a 180 or a 230, you know what I mean? Depending on your ink deposit. And so it's very, very rare we PFP, like use the same screen for a white. It's not often because it's just, I think in my opinion, it gets too thick. The way we're putting it down, it's too thick. Don't like it.
Does your shop battle with used pallet tape swords? We don't change pallet tape often enough to have swords or balls or anything. I am super impressed by some of the shops that make gigantic balls from pallet tape. Like they just keep it and they keep adding to it and then get this boulder. I always think those are super rad. We do have, like, right behind my desk is the last time we changed hoodie pallet tape, and we put all of them together stacked on top of each other, and I'm pretty sure I have a Kevlar vest now. So that's pretty cool. You guys changed tape. What do you do with it? You're just chucking it immediately, or do they do anything cool with it?
We have made a giant ball, but we just chuck it generally. Yeah.
Take it home, use it as a stool.
Yes, exactly.
There's one about best lean practices. I don't think we should answer this question. I think what you should do is get on Clubhouse and join Chessie and Scott from King Screen and Flood Ways print show on, what is it, Mondays? They just talk about lean screen printing practices every Monday.
Yeah, I think it's Monday. It's either 11 or 12.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's 11 my time, Eastern. So do that. If you're listening, do that. It's a good time. More nudes. Is it important to have a shop mascot? Does it help with branding? From our buddy at Nar City Custom Printing. Andy, you have the gorilla.
Yeah, we have a Kong head. Does it help with branding? I mean, I feel like it does. Memorable. Yeah. So
it's like with us, like we never, like when we first started, a lot of our shop shirts had eagles in them because I'm from Whitney Point and Whitney Point's school mascot is the Eagles. And we also have a shitload of like bald eagles that live here that fly over all the time. So like our mascot was an eagle. But then I've always been fascinated with Sasquatch. So like I interchange them with like a Sasquatch dude or an eagle. But I don't really know if that's necessarily a mascot. It's just more of like a fun way to use to like brand. But I think it definitely helps. Like Andy, like if I saw Andy's Kong head without shirt Kong on it anywhere, I would know that was Andy's Corella.
Yeah.
Like
It's sort of like Nike. It's that
Right.
recognizable.
right.
Just
Like with me, if you saw my eagle, or because there's like 30 of them, or like the different Sasquatches, you wouldn't know that was an upstate thing. So like, if anything, Andy's
I would.
succeeding in the logo world more than I am.
I would. In fact, I have all of your stickers. We also put your stickers back there with everyone else's. But
On
you
the trash
send
can?
two. Yeah, you send
I
two.
was about to say.
And I have yours on my cabinet right behind my desk.
Mhm.
I remember them.
But yeah, I do think it helps for sure.
Okay, so questions for us on shop hacks? Do those?
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily have too many shop hacks, or if you even want to call them shop hacks, because a lot of them I get from you guys and all the other listeners.
I think you should give us some tips that you have for just working in your garage.
Turn up the radio real loud. Well, really, if someone's out there listening and they're kind of in the same boat as me, when I didn't have like the printer or the films or anything, I just had my heat transfers. This is like a heat transfer. I would just use this and burn my screen with it, and then after either save it or you can still use it to press like a shirt.
So you're cutting and reading it. Is that what you're saying? So it's basically like they used to do with like Ruby film.
Ruby
so
list.
it was like, it was like the old. It's like it's a way they used to do it. Like what you're doing right there. Only they didn't have automatic plotter cutters. They're
cutting them with a razor blade.
Yeah, but
I had no idea.
Yeah, that's like a real legit method. That they used to do before.
Wow, I thought I freaking found something out. I was like, holy shit, it worked.
It's smart, like you did. That it does work. It works well. In fact,
I found a way to do it. I mean, I didn't, which is weird. I didn't Google it or nothing or anything like that. In my head, I'm like, well, let me try it. I had all this extra vinyl laying around after I started screen printing and stuff like that. So I did it and it worked. And then I later found out once I started screen printing, I was still kind of heat pressing on the side. I would keep the plastic and I would just use it like as my palette or whatever to test on, and I would just spray, fresh wash it, redo it, reuse it, and stuff like that. So I kind of utilized whatever I had left of the HTV to get me through like the screen printing in the beginning for sure, because I didn't have like the film or the printer or anything like that. And that's what I did to try and figure it out. And sure enough, it worked. I did a lot of stuff with just doing it that way.
That's a good one. Do you have any other ones?
No, I mean, like if you're in search of like spatulas, I found some really good ones at Hobby Lobby in the baking section. They're not flimsy or anything, because when I first was starting, I freaking went to every baking section, got every fucking spatula known to man to try and figure out what worked for me. So I'm like, man, I don't want to pay for a spatula that's literally a fucking spatula. So let me find something and make it work. And finally, I found those, and they're like $5 a piece or something, and they're sturdy as hell, and they work great for me. So that's what I use.
I have to add to that conversation because there's a little bit of a battle here in the shop over spatulas. So this was probably 5 or so years ago or something, where somebody posted at one point that the Dollar Tree had ink spatulas. Like, I'm guessing the way the dollar store thing worked is that some company made some crazy amount of spatulas or something, and the Dollar Tree ended up buying them and stocking them for a little while. Mm-hmm. And you could go buy like a wood handle cake spatula, like you're talking about, goes up at 6 inches. It's rounded on top. You can use it for ink, whatever. You could buy them for like $1 a piece or whatever it was, like $1 or $2. So I went and I bought like 3 cases. Like, they had the boxes on the top shelf and like the ones hanging on the hook. I bought like everything they had. So I ended up having like 50 spatulas or something. Like, it didn't, like I said, it was only like $50 worth of spatulas, so it was no big deal.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
And come to find now, they're stiff. Well, anyway, the problem is that they're great for mixing ink because they're stiff and you can like hold it in your hand and mix the ink or whatever. But they really suck to take ink out of the screen. So like the good spatulas that you buy, that you find on like, these websites like Ryonet or whatever else that you're buying, the metal spatulas, they have a real good amount of flex to them. The good amount of flex is nice because if you're not mixing the ink and you're taking ink out of the cup and you're putting it in the screen, when you put it in the screen, the squeegee will or the spatula will flex with the screen, so it like won't tear into the screen, it flexes. But then when you are done printing the job and you take the screen out of the auto or whatever and you want to get the ink out, they are masters now at just like taking the spatula and like giving it up like at an angle with a bend on it and just, you know, like one motion almost of like taking all the ink out of the screen and then like scraping it back in the cup. You cannot do that with a hard, stiff spatula that well. So when I'm out there and I'm doing something and Randy comes up to me or something, he's like, hey, can you mix me this ink? I got to do this other thing. I'm like, yeah, I'll go mix an ink. Like I prefer using the sturdy one. And then I'll give him the cup with the spatula in it. And he takes that spatula out like angrily and like wipes it off and puts like his spatula in because he hates the stiff spatulas. So that would be my only thing is like, watch out for the stiff, cheap ones just because it's not going to bend down and get flat on the screen when you want to take the ink out.
Yeah. When I pick up the actual ink, I've tried it with spatulas and like the flexible spatula, and I don't know if it's just me. Like
you like using the card?
I just use like the putty knife, like the little drywall putty knife. And at first I ripped like 2 screens because I fucking was kind of like not careless, but I didn't think like, oh, this is gonna rip my screen. You know, I was just trying to clean the ink off. But now I'm more like cautious when I do it and stuff like that. But that's usually what I do. I'll have the spatula to mix, and then they kind of have like the bend curve to them, so they lay down pretty easy. And then I'll just use the little putty knife and just scoop it all up and just wipe it away. Use the baby wipes now.
Yeah.
Take it right off.
I feel like everybody has their own method. There's people that use those ink cards. There's people that Andy use cards, right?
We use a combination of everything. Like we don't use cards to scrape the screens. We use like
right, but you use cards to put it in. I've seen you do like the big cards and put ink in. We use
cards to put them in, but we use metal, like a stainless steel scrape, like a putty knife to scrape our screens. And what we did, because you just said like when you buy them, the corners are sharp. They're like pretty like 90-degree corners. So they are pretty sharp. We just ground them down and rounded the corners, and so they're, you know, we can't pop screens.
All right,
love them. Home Depot, that's where I get ours.
Do you have questions for us?
No, honestly, I'm just glad you guys reached out and I was able to come on here. You know, I'm gonna after this just get dinner ready and stuff and get ready for the work week and just wait.
Don't tell us about dinner yet.
Oh yeah, no.
Don't ruin that for Andy. That's his favorite part.
That is my favorite part. So let's go to quick takes.
Okay. I need to add a question to quick takes.
Okay.
Because my good buddy Christina asked me a question just now, and she's like, add it to listener questions. I was like, we just finished listener questions. What was it? What did she ask me? What is your least favorite song?
Least favorite song? God.
What's that one song that comes on and you're just like, oh, I fucking hate this song, and you have to shut it off?
I'm not going to try and think about it because I'm going to hate you guys after. Because I'm trying to think about it now, and I can't remember. But oh man, it's one of these songs that the kids listen to, and I'm just like, fucking shit. Like, it gets stuck in my head, and and then when it gets stuck in my head, I'll say it out loud, and I'll get stuck in my lady's head just to piss her off. So I'm not the only one with it in my head. But dang, if I have it at the top of my head, if it comes back to me, I'll shoot it out. But
Dylan, do you have one?
I feel like I do, but I can't think of it right now either. I mean, there's definitely some on my list that are like just awful songs I don't want to hear anymore. And I feel like a lot of them are that like kid songs or like, fuck.
I remember Baby Shark when that came out. It was too crazy.
Yeah.
Like everyone and their mom. But now my little one listens to it, so I'm just there, Baby Shark with it, you know, like, so I have to like put up with that one.
there's this I can't remember the name of the group now, but there's this group And they're actually, I think the 3 people that are in the group are in that movie Chappie, the one with the robot. And
dude,
they,
the gangster robot.
It's D. Antwoord.
the girl with the obnoxiously annoying voice. Yeah, it's fucking awful.
They're
Randy
from South Africa. Those guys. Actually, I saw them in concert.
You would.
Believe it or not. I just happened to see them. Yeah, they came through town. We saw
just
them in concert,
happened. It was your fucking favorite band. It would
happen to see them. Those, I don't know. I think I don't know. They're pretty good.
Okay.
But you don't like her? She has like that. She has a song where she's like, she calls him that dude like ninja. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't even know. Randy will put it on sometimes, and like all I'm hearing here is like, I'm just like, oh God, shut it off, please. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Well, you need to be able to appreciate fine art.
Now I know when you're like sitting at your desk, just like in your mode, fucking emailing people. It's like,
I haven't heard them in 10 years. It's probably been 10 years. Yeah.
All right.
I've seen a lot of shows. So
what's your least favorite, Andy?
I was trying to think of one and I couldn't. I don't know. I just couldn't do it. I always go to
it's probably from my fucking favorite band, because your favorite band is my least favorite band.
I didn't say they're my favorite band, but yeah, okay, they are. Sure. I can't think of it. I can't think of one really. I don't know. I kept thinking of when you were saying that, and I don't know why, but it just, the Macarena came to my mind.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible. But that reminds me of middle school. So
I was like, whenever I hear that song, I don't want to hear it. The next question is, what's one thing you need every morning?
Probably a drink of water. I wake up really dry mouth from snoring or something like that. I need water.
Speaking of, I think it was Wednesday was the first night I got to use my CPAP machine.
How was that, man? I remember hearing about that on the last episode, and I was like, that's pretty gnarly, because my lady tells me the same. Like, dude, sometimes you stop breathing. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, no, I don't. But.
So long story short, I've snored for years, and my dad has one, my uncle has one, my aunt has one. And my dad swears by it. Like, he says he can't sleep at all without it. So I decided to go to the doctor finally and like improve on things. Andy was bugging me about my health and everything. So I'm working on it. And one of the steps was to get this machine so that I can get a better night's sleep, which gives me more energy and makes me want to do other things and everything else. So anyway, I ended up going, I got the machine. Wednesday night, I tried it on. It was kind of weird the first night, honestly. Like the night they had me do it during the sleep study, when they put it on, I fucking was like a dead body for like 6 hours. Like I slept so good. Like that made me so hyped to get this machine, because I was like, I haven't slept like that in years. And this was like covered in wires, uncomfortable in this like creepy ass hotel room thing at the hospital. So I was like, if I have this at home, it's going to be amazing. So the first night I put it on, I think it was just because you're so used to the way you like move and flow in your own bed that it was just like weird the first night. So that night I slept good. The machine tells you, it has like all this detail of like, you know, how long you slept, and if you did stop breathing or anything. And they say like up to, I don't know what it means, but it's like 5.0 and under is like a normal human being that has no problems. And like, since I've used it, it's been between like 3 and 4. So I'm like under the norm, which is awesome because that means I'm not snoring. But last night I put it on and I went to bed, and I haven't for years been able to sleep on my back, because that's like the worst position for someone who snores really bad, because you will choke a ton. And with this machine, I can sleep on my back. And I prefer to sleep on my back if I could. Like when I was a little kid, I always slept on my back. So last night I went to sleep and I put the machine on, and I think I like slept with like my arm completely extended to my right, and pretty much from my shoulder over was hanging off the bed, like straight out, like nothing supporting it, anything. And because when I wear this machine now, I don't toss and turn at all. I just like, I'm a dead body for 8 hours. When I woke up in the morning, my arm was in so much pain, like because it had just been hanging off the bed all night long, that all day today, like even before I did this podcast, I took like an Aleve because like my arm is killing me right now. Like, cause it was just like holding up its own weight all night. Like right now, just doing this like really hurts. So I'm getting awesome sleep now and it's great. And B, it's just weird getting used to like going to bed as Bane every night.
I was about to say, I'm like, you look like Bane when you lay down.
Yeah, dude, it's like covers my whole, nose and mouth. Like it's like a full respirator basically. And then it's got 2 straps top and bottom that like go around your head. So it's like a full headgear basically. And then you get this like snorkel hose that comes from the machine that you like clip on the front of it.
Will you please send me a picture tonight when you get
I will.
You get all set up.
I'm going to do a photo like this, but when I go to bed, I sleep naked. So you're going to get you're going to get the mask, but in the background, you're going to have like blurry visual.
Blurry. That's good.
I'll try
Next
to keep it
question.
Hold on. I got to.
Is it me?
Oh,
no, it's me.
I have a question for Dylan. Speaking of old man problems, I'm on the same boat. Like, I know you say you have a bad back. Like, how do you deal with that? Because I was dealing with that for like maybe like 3 months, and I was just, since when I was home, I was like bedridden. I was fucked up. Like I thought it was like something was failing in my body because it hurt so bad. And I went to the doctors, they did scans, CTs and all that. And they were like, you're good, So I'm like, okay, what the hell's going on? And finally I went to a chiropractor and like, it kind of somewhat went away. So I don't know, like if you suffer with back problems, that crazy, but I found like sleeping with a pillow and stuff like that really helped me. Cause like now I'm back at 100%. Cause I was operating like at like 40, 30% and screen printing jobs. And like my back was just like, I couldn't,
Yeah. I feel like I, for a long time had issues and I had like sciatica, like my leg would go numb and my leg always hurt. And I think a lot of it's just because like I'm a fucking asshole and I don't take care of myself as much as I should and I need to. But the other thing I found that helped is definitely like stretching in the morning. They have you do that stretch where you basically like step on something, like kind of put your knee up and then push yourself into it and do that both legs a couple times. Like that helps. The other thing I found that helped for my back was like when I sleep and I was, like I said, I was sleeping on my side and rolling all night long, is that when I lay just like in bed on my side, I kind of like twist my back and like push my one knee forward and like have the other leg straight because it's like feels comfortable for some reason. But then in the morning, my back always hurt so bad and it hurt like all night long. But then I ended up getting one of those like body pillows and I just kind of like lay straight, but like hold my arms over it to like keep me comfortable. And then my back kind of hasn't hurt as bad, but I feel like I just deal with it now.
Yeah, no, I'm on the same boat. Like I have to deal with it. It's what it is. But if there's ways to kind of, I guess, minimize it, then I was just kind of all for it.
I don't think you can see it, but I found this the other day and I'm keeping it on my phone now. It's called Battlestar Sciatica.
Oh man.
So yeah, that's where I'm at with it to answer your question.
All right. Yeah.
All right, Andy, I got next question. Let's see. Best recent read, listen, or watch?
Oh man. I know you're all about the watches. That's me too. Recently watched like was The Manifest. That one was pretty good.
Was that good? Because it looked weird to me.
Honestly, like I didn't know what the fuck I was going into, but my sister, my brother-in-law, like I was seeing it all over Netflix. Oh, you got to watch it. And this other dude I came it with, he's like a Canadian, Canada, and he's like, you got to watch it. And I'm like, I'll watch it. So I watched it, and man, like we binged like the 3 seasons, and now we're waiting for season 4 because I guess supposedly they didn't want to keep going forward or they needed more funding. There's like a petition going out now, like for people to sign for them to bring the show back and for Netflix to pick it up.
It's that
good. It's really good. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. It just depends on the person. But I have to do it like, you don't know. It's like either aliens, it's God, it's freaking it's weird, man.
To me, it looked like a B movie version of like Lost and like the 400, I think it's called, where like people just went missing, and then all of a sudden they came back, and it was like a different time. And
it's kind of like that, but just it kind of has like its own twist. It's kind of cool. I mean, if you're into like X-Files and stuff like that, I think you would like it.
I have it on my queue, but I didn't know if I was going to watch it. Like, I have certain things on my queue that I know are there for like days when I like get the flu, and I know I'm going to be in bed for like 4 days, that I'm like, all right, I'll watch those when I'm desperate. So I'll take it off of my desperate list, and I'll give it a shot now that you said it's good.
Yeah.
All right, so what advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
Fuck. That's a good one. I mean, I just turned 29 on the 9th of this month, and if I were to tell myself,
we have the same birthday.
When's your birthday?
July 9th.
The same day.
Shut the fuck up, dude. Seriously?
Seriously. Oh,
that's pretty cool.
I have this shark balloon that I've been meaning to bring, and I brought it. It's in my trunk. I got to go get it. So answer your.
I'll give him the next question.
Hold on. He hasn't answered that question yet. I got to find my keys. Oh yeah.
But going back to that, I mean, my 20-year-old self, I wish I would have gone into printing sooner, you know? Not that it's too late, obviously, but I can only imagine, like, if I started, you know, when I was 20 or 19, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing then, or even wanted to do, you know? I probably would have enjoyed this and just, you know, probably grew faster or something. I don't know, but everything happens for a reason. So
yeah, that's kind of where I fall in, is I feel like it's, you know, if I had a time machine, I could go back and teach myself stuff back then. Like, where would I be now? But then it's the same thing. It's the journey. You know what I mean? It's like shit happened in weird ways, and we learn things from mistakes. Like, you learn most of the shit, you know, from mistakes, not from like actually just going out and figuring it, like reading it. So I feel like I needed to make all the mistakes I made to be where I am now. Like, if I would have cheated, I probably would be somewhere else or dead or something. So
yeah, who knows if he would have even liked it then? You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, no, I remember going to shows back in the day too, and looking at all the merch and watching bands, and I never even thought in my mind like, oh, I should make shirts, or I was the one there like, man, these are fucking sick, I'm gonna buy this, you know, like. I never thought like, oh, I don't make my own merch or whatever.
All right, you ready for this? I went out there and I had my key fob, you know, and I opened the trunk thing, and
it flew into space.
Started to fly away.
Started flying out. Yeah.
I grabbed it though, but here we go. Ready?
Is it just a shark? It doesn't say anything on it?
Yeah, it's just I don't know why, but she got me some balloons for my birthday, and this was one of them.
I like it. It is also Shark Week, so
yeah. Well, and you're scared of sharks.
It's relevant.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't you fucking hate Jaws or something like that?
I love shark movies, but I don't like the ocean. Like, I don't want to go in it.
You're like, for what? Like,
dude, we watched for our movie night, our Thursday night movie night at the shop. We watched The Reef, and shit like that. Like, those movies to me are fucking terrifying, because it's like real. Like, you know, you were on a boat and it sank in the middle of the ocean, and you're basically the plot of this movie is they're on a boat and they're out in the ocean and it sinks, and they know that like 15 miles this way is an island, and they have to swim from there to the island, and it's going to take like all day or 2 days or whatever. And then like they start getting like attacked by a great white. Like, this one shark just keeps coming and like picking them off. And it's like, dude, I would have died as soon as I got off that boat from a heart attack, thinking about being in the water. Like, you could have used me as like chum and like pushed me in the other direction. I just don't. I know it's bullshit. I know it's like super. The ocean's probably amazing to swim in and like all these other things, but it's just like, I've been beat down of like living in upstate New York, nowhere near the water, and just seeing scary ass shark movies and like monster movies all my life.
You and me, when we retire onto the beach, we're gonna get scuba certified. We're gonna be going scuba diving every single day, and you're gonna love it.
Oh, man.
It's gonna happen.
What would you be doing if you weren't printing shirts?
I mean, pretty much what I already do, just trades, just building houses or working on cars.
What
And
do you
I
like?
mean-
What do you like more, carpentry or automotive stuff?
It's a little bit of both. Like I love building stuff or just working on stuff in general. And automotive is, I think it's a little more stressful for me at least, like losing parts or just, not parts, but like, you know, like your tools, they fall down or like, it's stressful. Both of them are kind of stressful, but if I were to pick one, I would just probably pick carpentry.
Same.
I told Dylan this amazing story last week, and it will probably not make the final cut because it was a terrible story. But it was about this building. It's about this house they're building at the very first lot in our subdivision. There's building this house, and I swear, like this is the worst construction crew in America. Like they are so sloppy at everything they do. Like it looks like there was a tornado there, you know, like it's just, there's shit everywhere. And I would just be so like, I don't know who the crew manager is on the, what do they call that person? The general. I don't know who's managing that crew, but they should be fired. It's terrible.
You should write him a nasty letter, Andy.
I haven't said shit, but I mean, it's going to be over soon and then they move on. But I mean, it's absolute disaster. You know, it's just a shitty way to run like, I don't even know all the wood, and it's rained a lot here lately, and all of the wood is out in the front, you know, and it's just mud and it's all like caked in mud. And then they pull it up and then they nail it to a wall. I don't know. And it's like, oh, I guess they don't care. It's a mess.
That's pretty sloppy.
It's pretty sloppy. And so it inspired me to be cleaner when I'm at the shop, even cleaner. So the next question is,
I'm kind of like the same way. I don't like mess. Like I was the guy at work that freaking had everything organized, while the others, like mechanics, like there's a sloppy mechanic and then there's an organized one. I was more of like the cleaner one, and you know, I was never really stressed out finding stuff because I knew where everything was. And then there's the ones that are just have shit everywhere, you know, and they know where it's at, but I don't know.
Isn't that true? I mean, you work faster. I think you work more efficiently. I don't like it. So it just bothers me when if I go to a press and this is like my press and this, today, let's say I'm going to operate this press. Well, then I assume responsibility for it and I keep it clean and I keep my table, like my ink cart clean. I want it to look nice. You know, this is where I'm working and this is my responsibility. I'm not going to trash it for the next person or whatever.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing to cook?
Favorite thing to cook. I'm kind of all over the place. I cook a lot of Mexican food. But for the most part, probably I like cooking shrimp. I like fish food a lot. Just like, I don't know, steaks, burgers, tacos.
How do you make shrimp? How do you make your shrimp?
I kind of just, I get the frozen shrimp and I kind of just thaw them out. They're already kind of like pre-cooked or whatever. And I just kind of add like a sauce to them. I use El Pato, the green sauce, and let them marinate in there for a little bit, give them like a spice. And I just cook like some corn and rice with it with some greens. It's pretty good.
Sounds good.
It's funny. I saw the other day, like a meme or whatever that was saying that basically, like crabs and shrimp and stuff like that are like the insects of the ocean.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Dude, that totally like turned a switch in my mind. I was like, that's right. Like, that's exactly right. Like they're like bottom feeders.
Yeah.
Like just like they're bugs in the water.
Eating trash.
Right. And it's like you don't think about it because it's like a food source that's like so many people are like into and like whatever. But they showed a picture of what I can't remember what the bug was, but it was like a cockroach or something. And then they showed like another, like, I don't know what it was, like a shrimp or something. And it was just like they look just like each other. And they're like, these are the same. You're just like, you're eating this one. And it's like, oh man,
trashing this one. Like,
fuck. Yeah, it's like, oh, that's so
Yeah, I
true.
saw that.
Like, I can't eat any of that stuff anyway. Like, I'm super allergic to like seafood, but like, oh man, that just like if I loved that kind of thing, I'd be like, fuck, that kind of ruins it for me.
I saw it and forgot about it, so you brought it up again. So I'm for like a week.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, I got next question.
Yeah, which is the last one, so it's yours tonight.
Oh, I can't do that. I gotta give it to you. I gotta.
No, you can do it.
That's your signature.
Yeah, well, you got it tonight.
All right, signature question. What is the meaning of life?
I have no clue.
My son actually has this thing where like he thinks it's hilarious where he runs around the house or he'll be doing something in a room with like a group of people like us, and then he'll go in the other room and be like, actually, I wanted to tell you guys that the meaning of life is, and then he shuts the door and like goes away. So the last question, Andy's signature, what's for dinner?
On the fence if I want to make spaghetti or just go out to eat. Just depends on where it goes. Because right now it's still early. It's 4:10 over here for me.
Yeah, it's 7:10 here.
Wow. Dang. Oh, okay. I thought it was still like 2 right now. I was like, damn, you guys are really ahead. But no, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah,
Spaghetti
probably
sounds good.
here or takeout.
Andy, what are you having?
I don't know. I think leftovers. Yeah, we made burgers and sides and stuff last night. We've got leftovers, so
Nice.
yeah, leftovers.
Nice. All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on this with us, dude. We're definitely glad we had you, and it was an awesome one. So thanks for saying yes to us.
Shit. Yeah, man. I appreciate, you guys reaching out and, hitting me up to be on and stuff like that. And yeah, man, it was really nice talking to you guys.
What's your Instagram and website or whatever so people can check you out?
I don't have a website just yet, but it's 2ELEVEN Street Apparel.
But it's the number 2, right?
Yeah, the number 2, 11 Street Apparel. And I just have Instagram. And I recently jumped into the whole TikTok thing because the only reason I got into that was Instagram took my music away. And I'm like a real big on like visuals. Like I like photos and stuff too, but I like to see like the process and just, it's cool to me. I like seeing like whether you're just pulling it or putting ink down, like it's just interesting to me. I like the visual aspect of it. And I like putting music to it. And so, yeah, they took my music away for some weird reason. I don't know if it was a business account.
Well, glad we got to talk to you. I love and appreciate that piece of art behind you, the Kramer.
Oh,
And-
dude, I love Seinfeld, man.
So good. Dylan doesn't get it, but that's okay.
I know.
And
it takes a
if I'm-
special type of person to enjoy the comedy.
It does take a special type of person.
Yeah, the kind of person who likes yang, yang, chang, yang, yang, chang.
And if I'm ever in Oakland, I'm gonna get in the car and drive to Oregon and come see you.
Definitely, man.
Well, thanks, dude. Have a good night. We'll see you later.
Yeah, have a good one.